Welcome to ICL's The Bottom Line, Fast Fertilizer Facts, where we break down fertilizer practices, products, and cutting-edge agronomy techniques in 10 minutes or less. In each episode, we will deep dive into one topic, one product, or one practice, and end up where it matters most, the bottom line. Today, we're diving into acidifying fertilizers, focusing on ICL's proprietary PeKacid technology. What is PeKacid, how it works, and the real impact it can have on your crop performance and, of course, your bottom line. With us today from the ICL Growing Solutions team, we have Manny Zepeda, Technical Sales Manager. Hey Manny, how's it going?
Good, Brett. Thank you for inviting us.
Of course. And Cory Ballard, Technical Sales and Strategic Account Manager. Hi, Cory.
Hi, Brett. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Together, they bring decades of experience helping customers grow more with less, working across crops, soils, and irrigation systems throughout California and the Pacific Northwest to maximize nutrient efficiency. Let's kick this off. What is PeKacid technology and how exactly does it work?
PeKacid is ICL's proprietary acid water-soluble formulation. PeKacid is a zero, analysis is a 0-60-20. With that, this acid formulation delivers a phosphorus and potassium containing product. It's leaving very little residue. So in the end, this product can be delivered to the end user as a concentrated formulation and also has the unique ability to not only deliver P and K, but also condition water and clean drip systems, irrigation systems as well.
Why is irrigation water quality so important?
So in the West, we really rely a lot on irrigation altogether because for the most part, we're dealing with low rainfall areas. So with that, irrigation water, a lot of times these growers, farmers are even limited on how much water they can put out. So for instance, in some areas where they're pumping groundwater, we can have some severe salty, high pH type, high bicarbonate type waters. What happens if you're applying that type of water over time? Your soils, especially high clay soils, are going to eventually take on the effects of that water.
Your application is only as good as the water that you're going to be serving it. Every ranch is different, every situation is different, but on the West Coast, the water quality that we have is not necessarily the best. It's not the worst, but it can be better. And so as such, we add acidification processes to the water, or at least treat it before it gets out to the field. 6 to 6.5 range, really 6.2 is the key here. 6.2 allows us to pretty much have a broader range of available nutrients. As you'll see later, that's the sweet spot that we're talking about, right? You have calcium, all the miners available. And that's the one unique thing about PeKacid in comparison to other forms of acidification processes is that PeKacid brings more to the table than just a sulfuric acid system or some sulfur burner systems that are common out there to bring down or to adjust your pH. PeKacid, what it does, it really allows us to hit that range that we're looking for. And on top of that, it also does a secondary effect of chelating a lot of those micronutrients that we're so much looking for. And it basically allows the plant to uptake them where normally, if you don't add in a product like PeKacid, would not be available to the plant.
Very interesting. And how does dissolution and mixing compare to other products?
PeKacid is a very water-soluble product. When in warm water and 70 degree above water, it's very soluble form. Basically, with minimum agitation, and basically leaves no residue at all. So I think for folks who are familiar with our water industry and the water solubles, one of our core products is MKP. That's very well known in the industry, but compared to that, you're going to be roughly about 3.5 times more soluble than a product like MKP. So with that, it gives the end user the ability to bring a concentrated formulation, to mix up concentrated formulation to deliver to the field. And it also, in that, once we mix, it's very compatible with other products. So not many products like phosphates can mix with calciums. PeKacid can. So it gives the growers flexibility to mix with calcium, magnesium, other forms of nitrogen, which overall reduces those applications that the growers are having to do in the field. So, and it also brings an alternative to less corrosive and just safer overall. It's less liability for the farmers.
Or do you just say that PeKacid can you can mix calciums with a phosphate?
That's correct, Manny.
Yeah.
You should talk to that a little bit more. I know you have experience.
Oh yeah. So I've had I think I've close to about 14 years in mixing. I will have to say that PeKacid is a very unique product when it comes to mixing. It's friendly if you understand exactly how it works and the chemistry that it has. It's one of those products where you can mix. This is one of the few products that will allow you to carry a calcium in its formulation. So the key to PeKacid really is pretty simple. Solubilize your PeKacid first, and then you put in your basics, like in this case would be calciums. I do have to say you do not want to add thiosulfates to your PeKacid blends, but other than that, everything else is pretty much a game. So when you do add PeKacid, like I said, add that first. It has a very high solubility. Some say it's higher than 5.5 pounds per gallon. That's usually using hot water, but I would comfortably say that any 4.5 pound per gallon mix is very comfortable, and you shouldn't have any salt out. If anything, you'll be happy with the way that mixes.
What's the ROI and bottom line benefit for growers with PeKacid?
I think for me, the main points we just talked about a little bit is it's a safer way to deliver an acid fertilizer to the field. It takes the liability off of trying to handle something like a sulfuric. So you're going to minimize applications, right? We almost have, for the most part, we have an all-in-one type product. We have an acid fertilizer that goes into solution. It's a clean source. It has the compatibility to mix with other nutrients to reduce applications. So I think just that alone speaks for itself. But at the same time, we're maintaining and delivering a product that's cleaning drip systems. It does a great job replacing other acid forms.
I will have to say that the PeKacid, what it really does, it's higher end of the NUE spectrum when it comes to a phosphate fertilizer. It is a very, very efficient form of delivering phosphates into your program. Once you apply that fertilizer, it's most likely going to get tied up. But to get it to the plant is the issue. Now, you add in PeKacid into your program, you will find that you're going to have a higher response of phosphate uptake. Just the simple fact that PeKacid is acidified. Because it's acidified, it's more mobile in the soil and a lot more available than, say, your standard P&K fertilizers that are just neutral or basic.
Manny, if I might have, while we're on this topic, maybe add a little bit your experience around some of the products that we've built around PeKacid as a base, containing NPKs and micronutrients. I know you've got broad experience with some of those Agrolution pH low lines.
We have the Agrolution pH low line. That is a all-in-one inclusive fertilizer program that we've got, and they're all targeted and formulated for certain life cycles of the plant, right? So we currently have a 1144-13 or 1145-11, which is more of like your pre-plant type of fertilizer. They do carry a minor nutrient package, although 1145-11 carries a 2% zinc, and that's a very special formulation, and let me tell you why. What we're talking about earlier, that the acidification of PeKacid chelates certain micronutrients. And in this case, since we add in a non-chelated zinc, what it really is doing, as soon as you apply it, and it goes into solution, the acidification of the PeKacid is chelating that zinc. For some reason, has that response with a good phosphoric acid fertilizer, enhances the growth of the leaf size and the root structures. So we do have a really good lineup, very solid. I can tell you that I think it's the Cadillac of the NPKs that's out there for sure.
Alrighty, and we have a bonus question for y'all. How do you say PeKacid?
That's a funny one. I think we're probably both from the old school way. So in my retail days, I started using PeKacid when it first came out. You notice how I just say, I call it PeKacid. I know for clarity reasons, we more or less tried to adjust the name a few years back just because our MKP label product is called Peak. So not to confuse the customer. The new name that we call is PeKacid, but either way, PeKacid, PeKacid, it's both the same product, high quality product that we deliver from ICL.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Manny and Cory, for breaking that down for us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invite.
Sum it up, pH is a powerful tool in crop nutrition. PeKacid Technology and Acidifying Fertilizers, Nova PeKacid and Agrolution pH Low are dual purpose. They provide nutrients while keeping pipes and drippers clean. With high solubility and ease of use, they support better nutrient uptake, more efficient water use, and ultimately improve ROI for growers. And that's the bottom line. For more information, visit ICL-GrowingSolutions.us or reach out to your local ICL agronomist.